Welcome to the PopcornTalk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is Marvel Movie News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the Marvel Universe.
The Eye of Agamotto welcomes you, our merry Marvelites, to our second show of the year 2016. We've done 66 in all! All right, I think we're off that shot now, right? That was the Eye of Agamotto, guys. And we are the Marvel Movie News, coming to you live from Can we please start calling it the Sanctum Sanctorum now? Can we call this the Sanctum Sanctorum? That's what I want. Can I do it for today, at least? Go for it. Okay. We are the Marvel Movie News, coming to you live from the Sanctum Sanctorum!
Can we, the week of Deadpool, call it the Chimichanga Truck, then?
We can.
Okay, I think we should theme it up.
What?
You said to give you space when we opened up the show,
my
so
God.
I was
Stop
giving you
it.
space.
Get over here.
Oh,
crazy.
Okay, you meant like verbal space, not physical space.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what is she? I out of the corner of my eye, I could see. I was like, what is she doing?
I was confused.
For all of you listeners not watching us, Marvel was Meredith was shying away from me, like I just was
He
farting
smelled
from
like
my
bad
armpits or
tacos.
something.
Well, you need to wave your hands to make the spells, so.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
hadn't done that
that's how
yet.
that
So, anyway, we're the Marvel Movie News. We tell you all the news from all the studios and why you should be as excited as we are. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News, or find us through the Popcorn Talk Network, YouTube/Popcorn Talk Network, or find us through the Popcorn Talk's website, PopcornTalkNetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN, Facebook/Marvel News Show. Follow us, like us, be our friends, ask us questions. We like to talk to you guys as much as we can, even though life gets busy, so forgive us. And guys, if you'll tweet a link out to our show with a message telling people about the live chat and they should come and join us, Jonathan in the booth will retweet you. I am Matt Key at the Matt Key.
I'm Meredith Placko at mplacko.
I'm Coy Jandreau at Coy Jandreau.
And we are joined today by the voice of Doom himself, Zach Wilson!
I am here! I've taken corporeal form.
That's amazing.
Join you guys.
They let you out of the internet. Or
I came
wherever.
through the screen, I hopped out of the mic,
That's fantastic.
landed in the chair with a Captain America
You
shield
look
on my
so
back.
much better than I imagined.
Show off your shield. Show off your
Yeah,
shield.
I got my writing partner, Greg, gave me this amazing.
So good. It looks so
it's the
good.
best
I love
backpack I've owned in my life.
It's so badass.
I'm jealous.
Sling it over my shoulder.
know.
Super
It's not
jealous
gonna be
of it.
effective.
We're all gonna get one now.
Yeah, we're all going to come in with one. I'm going to have a giant Eye of Agamotto backpack
course
with an
you are.
eyeball staring at everyone behind me, like freaking out. Why is that eyeball following me?
Dude,
like-
I bring
No
the
one's
Deadpool
like-
pocket watch everywhere. I think it's awesome.
Did you hear that?
Dude, I got to show that to
what-
TJ Miller.
What? Really?
I got to show that.
Holy
We'll get to that
cow.
story. We'll get to that story when we get to Deadpool.
No,
Should
but
we
you know
rip
what?
it down now?
We only have an hour today, so
Okay,
jump
so
right in. Let's go to Fox. Let's
so-
go to Deadpool and tell your story very quickly.
Very quickly, I missed that screening of Deadpool because I saw it, I read showing clips because they were trying to be sneaky. My anti-sneaky didn't want to get Age of Ultron. I got really sad that I'd seen the whole movie, so I was like, you know what? I want to meet fans, but I like Deadpool fans like myself, but I don't want to experience clips and ruin the movie. So I intentionally avoided the screening. And then 2 minutes later, like into the screening, I found out it's a full screening, and I am distraught, broken, very upset. And then I was ruining the day until I went to dinner that night, and I looked out the window, and sitting outside was TJ Miller. And I never talk to people while they're eating dinner, because that is the rudest. Don't do that.
He doesn't even talk to his girlfriend.
I
while
don't
he's
talk to
eating
anyone.
dinner.
I'm eating, I'm focused. No, but if you see someone, let them eat dinner.
Very true.
But as I was leaving, he also got up to leave, and I was like, you know what, fate, thanks, man. Thanks for fixing this Deadpool screening. So I got to talk to TJ Miller for a little bit about basically Stan Lee's love for Deadpool, Rob Liefeld's love for the movie, like the fan interactions, and he like knew so much about comics, had like so much to say about the fans, was like in deep love with just talking to someone that loved Deadpool as much as I did, and it was really cool to meet someone that was like as about the story as the fans in that level. And I mean, he said Stan Lee said it's one of his favorite Marvel movies, and Liefeld said it was better than a lot of comics because they could do more with the movie.
Yeah.
And whoa. So TJ Miller, I told you to watch, and dude, thank you. It was awesome. Appreciated meeting you.
Wait, TJ Miller's watching us today?
Let's just assume. Let's just
Hi,
violently
TJ.
assume. But yeah, thanks, man. You were awesome, and he loved the pocket watch which I just received. So thank you, guys.
Aw, that's awesome.
I'm trying to find the fan who gave it. I want to say his name starts with a C. I'm like digging furiously through Twitter right now to find his
In my
name.
brain, I thank him, and I thanked him then because he thought that pocket watch was awesome.
That's so cool, man.
It's always good that
I'm gonna
like
have to find the name.
the actors care.
yeah, he got it.
They
man.
give a damn.
Because at first he was like, bro, this guy's bothering me at dinner. And then I was like, Deadpool. And he's like, I'm listening. And then I was like, been a fan for 8 years. He's like, let's talk. And we talked for like 10 minutes. Like,
That's
as
so
soon as
cool.
he realized I wasn't like, hey, TJ. I was like, Deadpool. He was like, Deadpool too.
Yay!
So, once again, I'm sorry the name drop shit. But stuff. Oh, man, a double whammy.
It's okay. It's okay. You didn't
love
say
you
the other
guys.
word. You didn't say the other word.
Good stuff.
Well, talking about Deadpool, the initial reviews are coming in, and all of them are highly favorable. No one has said, well, I haven't like dug through Twitter and looked for every single Deadpool tweet, but it seems that no one is saying anything bad. So I chose 3 to highlight very quickly. We had, and if any of you are fans of our show, and you've seen it, please tweet at us. We want to hear your opinions. But at Imagine Bunny wrote literally best Marvel movie. I was low key hella doubtful, but by far best executed movie I've seen in a long time. So that's good.
Yes.
And that's not even like Deadpool was amazing. It's like she's saying the movie itself was
fantastic.
awesome.
That's cool.
Patrick Campbell at PJ Campbell said, "Oh man, I really love Deadpool. Funny, action packed, and just a blast. As a fan, I'm hugely impressed and happy." So he's admitting that he's a fan and is very impressed and happy. And then finally we have Rachel Howard at Rachel J Howard. Just saw early screening of Deadpool. The movie is effing amazing. She said the other word, but I'm not gonna get pulled
Slippery slope.
into the Jandreau trap.
family program.
Everything I was hoping for from the Merc with a mouth. So she sounds like a legitimate
fans
fan.
are happy.
Yeah, so the
That's
fans
awesome.
are happy. Also, we had at those screenings there's a Deadpool after credits scene. No, thankfully,
Yeah.
I was so afraid to read it.
no one's
Yeah.
been a jerk and said what it is. We've only heard that there is one.
That's all.
Amazing.
Good.
And good fans for not. Like,
Yeah.
thank you to
Yeah,
full
like
screens of
that's-
movie. Thank you 500 people.
Right.
Yeah, like that's so cool that like no one said like what it is.
It's hard to imagine in this day and age, but like, yeah, there's no details. Even
Yeah.
for people who like us who dig through
Yeah.
reviews.
That's why
and
I
everything.
avoided the clips, because I
Yeah.
thought it was clips, man. I wasn't trying to be like, I don't want to know, because Age of Ultron was putting together pieces of movie I'd already seen. I was like, I don't want that for
I did the
Deadpool.
same thing.
And then I missed it.
I saw it. I saw like, oh, they're doing that screen. Oh, I'm free that day. I'll just
Yeah.
see it in the
Yeah.
theater. It's only like
Cut to
3
Stan
weeks.
Lee just sitting in a room watching Deadpool. Like, no!
You should go to those. And here's why. Because you never know what they're going to do. You never know who's going to be there. But like Brittany and I got to go see Guardians of the Galaxy thing where they did like just the whole break, just the jail breakout
Yeah.
scene. And they did it in like a theater. Like I got in because of my Marvel
Right,
Unlimited
right.
membership. And it was so fun, and it got me even more excited for the movie. But they didn't show me anything that I like. They just like it was more or less like these things that you've seen in trailers. Here it is
It's
in
an
context,
expanded.
and that's it.
Yeah, they're usually really good about that.
I thought that until the Marvel's last round of trailers. Ever since the last 3
Yeah.
movies, I felt were a weaker experience because I know.
But this is our unknown entity Fox that seems to
killing the marketing,
Yeah.
killing it.
killing
the
I should have
marketing.
trusted.
You
Next
should,
time
yeah.
there's a clip thing, I'll go.
I know.
Next time, in the next 3 weeks.
By the way, can I point out that I love what you guys have all done with your toys?
It felt right.
No,
Yeah.
I love that.
It's character appropriate.
No, it's perfect, and I love that you have yours just like
They're guarding the eye.
they're guarding the eye. Like no, I think it's
Listen,
perfect. I love it. I love what you guys have
There's some
all
hero.
done with
Well,
the toys I got.
so here we go, because we have some original heroes for hire, and I mean, it's not like Captain Marvel needs to be like being an extra bodyguard, but if you're gonna have
But it's
anyone,
Doctor Strange.
yeah, I mean that's the thing, is that she just has to make sure that the Eye of Agamotto gets through the galaxy
That's all.
safely.
No,
That's all.
it's very sweet of you.
They
Thank
got
you
you
for
covered
protecting.
on the ground and in the sky.
Exactly.
And in outer space.
Yep, that's how it
perfect.
works.
All right, well,
The live chat's arguing that there were positive reviews in the early screenings of Fantastic Four. No. Just no. No. Do not compare these holy things to
Yeah.
that sacrilege. Thank you. No.
I think, and the
Lies.
difference too is these are fans.
Right. No
you
Fantastic
know.
Four fan. Not a single
Yeah.
Fantastic Four fan left that movie happy.
No, No, what I'm
if they did, they weren't a real fan.
Yeah.
Right,
What
so-
I'm curious about are how non-fans or people who are not familiar with the source material are going to react to Deadpool.
Yeah, I'm really curious too, to be honest. I think I've said before, and I know we have to hurry through the show because we have a lot of news. I think it will change the face of what comic book movies are as much as that awesome Suicide Squad trailer did.
Yes.
That's right, I said something positive
Yes,
about DC.
it is. It's
that
really,
movie looks
really
so
good.
good. Oh
It's
my
so
god, that
amazing.
trailer was
Oh my
I watched the
God.
trailer so many times.
I know.
Like the DC show's gonna have so
I am
much
so
fun
excited
this
for
week.
the DC
And
show.
like just not to be all cool about it, but like doing the Kevin Smith show, like we recorded last night, which was that's the date after he
Right.
did his CW DC thing, and he was just like, oh my god, like
I can't wait to be more excited about multiple studios. I can't wait to have more things
I know.
to be
I'm
excited
just saying.
about.
And you know what? Like all the naysaying that we had about the Joker, I still am not on board for the aesthetic, for like the whole attitude
I still
of
think
like
it's
the
Jason
blinged out
Todd.
car and everything
Ensemble.
else.
Yeah.
But like seeing him like cackle and his madness and his, I was like, all right, you know what? It
Also-
seems
I'm really
like they've got the
excited.
core of
I'm
the
sorry, I
character
really,
down, so.
really, and I pointed this out. We did over at What the Flick, like the after shows there. We did a review of the Suicide Squad trailer. So if you want to know my full thoughts, you can go over there and check it out. But also, I want to give a huge shout out to DC for really taking the step forward and showcasing an amazing diversity of characters. This film, even though it's all supervillains for the most part, but they, you have 4 main women in this film and a huge cast of people of color, and that is fantastic because anyone who's familiar with DC Comics understands it's a struggle that the publisher has been going through within their comics and through their films, and I think that's fantastic. And there's been a lot of naysayers saying like, oh, Harley's being marginalized and this is stupid and this is terrible, and regardless of what problems you're seeing with the movie personally, you do need to give them a
That's
lot
some
of
credit,
give
I
them
think it
some
looks
credit
great.
for that.
I think
So-
that'll be their Deadpool.
Yeah.
I think it looks amazing. I'm really excited. I just want to give DC the tip of the hat.
The trailer made me nervous. I'm still not sold on Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a fun trailer, and I still don't know what the movie is going to look like.
It's fine. And
That's
you know,
fair.
Queen rules.
Yeah.
Queen
All right,
Speaking
we
of
get-
trailers,
Yeah.
that Australia Day thing, Deadpool, awesome.
I know.
Haven't seen it. Haven't seen it
You guys
yet.
need to go check it out.
Check it out.
Thank
Skip it
you
about
both. Okay.
we're moving on. Cable and Deadpool are
transition
possibly
zone.
being talked about. Yeah, that's the trend.
Yeah, that's it.
Not, like
That's
if you guys are
perfect.
going,
Yeah,
if you guys are
that's
going just a
perfect.
little bit longer
I
than
like
we can
that.
afford,
It's got a scat.
I'm just gonna
Do it.
scat at you.
Just scat. Don't scat on me though.
I'm not gonna scat on you. That's
He's an engaged
disgusting.
man. You're scatting at anyone but Brittany.
I think you need to
Not
do
even
it in
then.
a
Not
higher-
even then. Stop it. Just get out. Everyone, get out now.
You need to do it in a
Zach, you
higher
can
key.
Oh,
if you're
stop.
gonna-
Oh, now you will have to get out. I'll do the show by
Sometimes the
myself.
mystic fluid leaks from the eye of Agamotto. It's a thing that happens.
All of you stop. Cable and Deadpool are being talked about. There was a fan that screened out at the Q&A in New York because they did the secret screenings in New York and in Los Angeles. Ryan Reynolds was at the one in New York, and someone yelled out, "Do Cable in the sequel!" And he said, "Your lips to God's ears, my friend. Believe me, that's being talked about."
Yes!
Boom. Yeah.
Done.
So,
That's awesome.
That's all
Did
I
not
want.
know that. Did not hear that.
not guaranteed anything else.
fine.
However, if they're doing an X-Force film, and Ryan Reynolds also said that he wants to see an R-rated X-Force film.
It only makes
early
sense.
in the
Yes.
If they're talking X-Force, if they're talking New Mutants, that's all Cable. And if they've got Deadpool already established in the universe,
Why wouldn't they tie that in?
that's a perfect
Especially if
tie-in.
Suicide Squad
Yeah.
as well, which is why we talked about it. Planned.
Skip it about. Scoop it. Also, Hellfire is looking for new showrunners.
Oh, that's
not,
disappointing.
It's
Okay.
it's not necessarily
Okay.
a bad thing. It just
All
means
right.
that it's going to be delayed in its release.
Okay.
But Evan Katz and Manny Koto were writers and showrunners on 24. Now 24 Legacy is coming to television,
Right.
so
'Cause
they love to
that
go
needs
do
to
that, which
happen.
means that now Hellfire doesn't have anyone else, so they're looking for new showrunners. Part of that deal is that they will have their pick of writers, which means that all the writers that we're working on Hellfire now might be out of that job. But may not.
I don't know
But
who
it
is-
also means that the new showrunners are going to be able to put it in
Yeah.
any direction that they want.
Okay, I'm
So,
okay with this because I loved the first couple of seasons of 24. Really lost me towards the end, and so don't care about a 24 series that doesn't have Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah,
So they can
agreed.
go do that, and looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see some out of the box thinking on this one. So, like, giving it to some new blood
Yeah.
showrunners could be like a good way to make this a really fresh series.
Yeah.
I know, like maybe be a Matt Key and Zach Wilson. Just saying, that might be really
I
good.
am
Look real
available.
good on
Fox.
Hellfire. I would like to say that I kind of was never a giant fan of them doing like a Mad Men kind of thing.
No,
like
either
I was
was
happy
I.
to see like Hellfire Club and the original X-Men First Class movie. That was great and it made sense because that was the time. But I would rather see it like updated and in the new world. Like I don't want to see it in the past. But,
No.
And I don't know why. I don't even have.
They dropped news this week that the TV shows, or at least Legion, I know they confirmed, is not going to be in the cinematic
They did
X-Men
not.
universe.
That's the
Okay,
next story.
cool.
So perfect
Yeah.
segue. Legion is looking like it's likely to be picked up. They said that at the TCAs this week.
Cool.
Television Critics Association, correct?
Yeah. Their winter press tour.
Yes, and they said it takes place in a parallel universe. So this is FX CEO John Landgraf. Landgraf.
So this would be like Earth, whatever.
Yeah, this is Earth 1610
Yeah.
or Earth
Whatever.
999.
Yeah.
It takes place in a parallel universe. The U.S. government is in early days of being aware of mutants, but not the public. I don't foresee any characters moving back and forth between the movies and the
Okay.
series. So,
I'm okay with that. I mean, that's, what DC
They're trying to build a
does,
universe.
so-
It's cool
yeah.
to separate a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, well,
overwhelming.
you know,
Yeah.
like CW and DC,
DC, yeah.
Film
cinematic,
Yeah.
like they're separate. And as much as like I love Grant Gustin as the Flash and Stephen Amell as Green Arrow, like I don't know that it works in the cinematic
Yeah.
Right.
universe.
I'm curious
I
how
agree.
Ezra Miller
So-
does his Flash, and we wouldn't get that
Exactly,
otherwise.
exactly. So
The only thing they have to be careful of with that is, and this is what worries me about Flash, is the same characters.
Yeah.
So, like, as long as, like, Legion has a completely separate set of characters,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
And I
No
don't-
one's going to
yeah.
care. But if they have, like, a new version of, if they have Cable showing up in
Hellfire, yeah.
Hellfire or
Yeah.
Legion or anywhere
Yeah.
like that, like, you're just, wait a minute.
wait a minute, that cable's different
The
from
casual
the cable that I
fan
watch. Yeah.
will
Right.
not know what
Yeah.
to do with that information.
Yeah, I think I'm glad they're going that route though, because I think Marvel's doing a good job weaving these different Netflix cinematic universe and television series all together, but we have seen some growing pains there, and I think it's a very monumental task to take on.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Fox is good at recognizing that this is not the way we want to go. We're just going to keep developing things that work for us.
And Fox's legal team is probably very happy they're separate because that's
Yes.
a lot of licensing rights issues. And I'm happy it just exists. Like Legion is one of the most. I'm looking forward to that
Yeah.
show more than most things, just because I love that book. I'm hoping they're based it off.
I agree.
The character's great.
I agree.
So.
All right, skipping about, we're moving on. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a long segment. There are so many details on X-Men Apocalypse that just came out
Yeah.
today. Like, it was just like a flood of like, hey, what's up? It's X-Men Apocalypse time.
And when does it come out again?
Ooh,
May-
May 26th, I want to say.
Yeah, it's like 2
Yeah.
weeks after Batman vs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it's like
coming.
and it's like right
And this
after Captain America.
Yeah, and this is the right timing to start
Yeah.
getting this sort of news out there because like there's gonna be like there will be a second big trailer probably. What would you say, like March, like end of February, beginning of March is my guess.
I would imagine in front of Deadpool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
That-
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
in fact, yeah.
they may just like release like just continue to run the trailer that they have because
Yeah.
the trailer that they
Yeah.
have is great. So, I thought it was great.
Oh
Anyway,
no,
so,
it's great. I'm just like I'm thinking like where.
No, I think we'll get one more.
So first of all, Apocalypse is the most powerful villain for the X-Men. So this is Simon Kinberg talking. Unlike the other mutant villains we've had, Apocalypse has a lot of different powers, and you can see that over the span of the movie. Usually we have Magneto with his magnetism, or you have Shawn, the way he can absorb energy. This is a character who is certainly way more powerful than any of the characters that we've seen in the franchise. And then Bryan Singer goes on to say he has a number of different powers that he's acquired over the years as he's moved, get this, as he's moved from body to body, accumulating these various abilities.
That's a change up
So
there.
I don't know if that means that he actually like is like a hermit crab but with bodies.
That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
That's what it sounds
That
like.
sounds
But
interesting.
it could also be that like his power is the ability to
So-
manipulate like molecules and stuff like that.
Or
so
do you think they're blending Apocalypse with oh god,
Shadow King?
Shadow King.
that's
That's what it sounds like.
I'm not familiar with Shadow.
That'd be interesting.
Shadow
Yeah.
King is like a psychic entity that can like jump into people and take them over. So like Shadow King could like be like invisible to us because
Yeah.
it's just the psychic energy, then like jump into you and then use you to attack all of us. Like it's that
Okay.
kind of thing. So
That's-
he's a big X-Men
Yeah.
villain.
Plays a
I think
huge
he
part
was
in Aurora Storm's
yeah, in Storm's,
backstory.
origin.
He was, in the 80s, he was
Yeah.
like a big problem for them.
So yeah, but not since the 80s. I mean,
it
he
is so
grew
long.
old.
He's just
Yeah.
moved on from that world.
But yeah, like that. I found that interesting. That's one of the reasons I wanted to read that quote. I really think that it has to do with his ability to like change his body. So I think
Yeah.
he's moved from body to body in that like he can. Like whenever he like resurrects himself or comes back to life after a millennia of sleeping or whatever, he's like, I want a different body, and just changes because I think those are his powers. So
We'll have to see. That's interesting.
But so going on, he says one of them is to powers. One of the powers is to imbue other mutants and to heighten their powers and abilities.
Okay.
He can also shield from psychic powers, though he doesn't have them himself. And he can amplify your power, transform you as a mutant, but his ability to physically damage, destroy, or build is in the non-biological world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's in the physical world. He can change the inorganic molecules of things. These are some of the powers that we're exploring. But like later on, like he actually talked about, like I didn't pull a quote, but he said like alien, like other mutants and stuff like that. So I think they're doing, like I think they're going that direction with him, like because in the comics, you know, a lot of his powers come from the Celestials, and that's where he gets a ship and everything else. But
I really think they are going to kind of tie in some Shadow King though there with.
I think that would be.
This is interesting.
That would be really cool.
And I think they're going to start tying into some. Well, not the Celestials because we know Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel has the rights to that.
But that's cool.
So yeah, like I was like, oh my god, yes, you're doing that with Apocalypse. I'm so excited.
I'm excited they have a direction to go in because he's such a big character. He's such a broad power set. It'd be really hard to decide. Like, he can do everything. How do we do that? It's good that they have we're hearing a direction they're going.
Yeah, this is good.
So also, Simon Kinberg talked about where this movie, X-Men Apocalypse, falls chronologically in reference to Gambit, Deadpool, and any other movies that are coming out.
So wait, Gambit's still on the table?
Yeah, it comes out next year, not this year. They pushed that back to sometime next year. It starts filming, I think, late spring.
Nice.
So, but he said that this takes place before those other films take place.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's the 80s, so that makes sense. But what he's really saying is that the quote that he has is, they are all part of a larger fabric now. So the world of Deadpool, Gambit, those exist in a post-Days of Future Past, post-apocalypse world. So like Apocalypse happening, Gambit and Deadpool, those movies take place after Apocalypse and after Days of Future Past.
Interesting.
So he goes on to say, the same way that each of us, meaning us, of different ages knows about Nixon, about the Reagan, knows about 9/11, our fictitious events like the stadium dropping on the White House in 1973 is part of the world with Gambit, Deadpool, and Wolverine.
So it's that reboot we talked about. Not reboot, but it's that continuation of a new version of the trilogy.
It's
so
that extended
it
universe.
makes sense.
Yeah, I like that.
They're all connected.
J.J. Abrams Star Trek style.
Yeah.
Like, we're still in the same world. Nothing was erased, but also none of it is set in stone.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm excited because that will, whatever Deadpool references, it might kind of give us some backstory hints.
And like I talked about 2 weeks ago with Colossus, it gives us a new way to see what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
With such a wonky character.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
So yeah, moving on. Bryan Singer studied cults for Apocalypse, and
That's cool.
like the four horsemen, his four horsemen, they're the leaders of his cult, and the way he divided that up, I'm not going to read the whole quote. You can go read it on geekgirlauthority.com where I've posted all of our news up there with links to everything, including like some wonderful articles written by Meredith Placko
for geek.com.
I mean, I wrote some good articles too, but you're better. But they're based on a cult, and he basically said, let's see, there's a political faction, and that's what Magneto fills. There's a military faction, which Archangel fills. There is a youth faction, which Storm fills, and then there is a sexual component that you find in Psylocke.
Interesting.
So, and that kind of right
Cast.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives you a sort of like window into these characters.
No,
also,
and that
right?
makes sense.
So,
Like you definitely have like the cult of personality, the cult, which Psylocke definitely would fall into. And
If anyone's going to get me to join Scientology, it's Olivia Munn.
Right?
It's working. Good job casting. I'm not saying you're Scientologist, I'm saying it would work.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like that's not really like news or anything but it's like
we're
a flavor.
finally seeing
it's
some
a flavor.
things. This movie.
Yeah.
We've seen some footage, but it didn't give us a lot, which I liked. This is giving us enough, but it's intellectual. We're having to think about what it's going to shape without giving us too much.
Exactly.
I'm excited by quotes instead of just like, take this footage and ruin your movies.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, these quotes make me more excited about the movie because honestly, as great as all the footage looked in the trailer, like I was a little worried on like a story front, like how are they going to do Apocalypse? How is it going to fit into this world?
Yeah.
Like, how big is villains can be too big and too
Absolutely.
insane.
Oh, I agree.
And all of this seems like it's still going to be big, but measured and like given enough rules to make it a fun movie where it doesn't feel like impossible. Because if it's truly impossible, then how are we going to get out of this?
Exactly.
But this, I don't know. This gives me hope.
Yeah.
Well, like this gives you like context without giving anything away.
I agree.
And you go into it going like, oh, I want to see how they do that now. Like that's really interesting. That's the
Yeah.
philosophy behind the decisions that you made.
I think these are important things for a movie like X-Men Apocalypse, given the backstory with the X-Men films, not backstory, history with them. This is a good narrative to set up before the films.
Yeah, I agree. So Skibidi-Boo, moving on to Storm, played by Alexandra Shipp. I think it was Screen Rant that I pulled a lot of this from. They interviewed the Four Horsemen specifically. Joe Blow interviewed like a lot of people. But
Joblo?
Joblo? Is it Joblo? I've always said Joe Blow. But maybe it's Joe Blow. Oh, it's Rob Lowe.
I wish it
They
was
just
Rob.
spelled it wrong the whole
I
time.
know.
Yeah. But she said that she feels that the thing. So the Four Horsemen all willingly follow Apocalypse. He actually doesn't bend their minds at all. He doesn't have any psychic powers. He's just that persuasive. That like.
So Apocalypse is Donald Trump.
Getting political.
Someone said they had a Donald Trump ad before our show. I just wanted to point that out. So,
Wait, are you serious?
Someone was like, "Yeah." So I'm just gonna.
We do not
condone or support
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
encourage
We
any
do
sort
not.
of.
To clarify, all of that is
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah,
algorithm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're just saying it's not us. Just so I won't comment
Actually,
any further.
guys, it's me.
That's why we started the show early today. Get some
the
votes.
Get over
side of
here!
the
I was
table,
kidding.
man.
Get over here. So she joined up with Apocalypse because she's
This is
bullied
Storm,
by
by the
every. Yeah,
way.
this is Storm. Because she's bullied by so many other people, and she sees this powerful mutant who will help her not be bullied, who will help her like hone her skills and stuff like that. And she goes on to say, I think that his plan for her, being Storm, in the movie is to protect him. There's so much she can do, and what he's looking for is protection because he just woke up after a couple thousands and thousands of years. He's weak and he's alone and he's been betrayed by, I don't know, Alexander Shipp. I don't know.
We haven't seen the
betrayed
movie.
him?
Yeah.
Who betrayed him, Alexander Shipp? But like that is like another thing. It's just like, what is she like? There's reference there. Like she's referencing something that we're not familiar with. But she goes like, in protecting him, she says protect him with fog, protect him with lightning, blow away a missile, blow away a plane. So like I think we're gonna see like some really cool stuff coming from her. Like,
So she's the support character. She's support. If we're looking at a cool rounded RPG party, she's support. Cool.
And I think that'll lead to. I think the next set of films will be focused on these new mutants
I
introduced
agree.
here
I
because
agree.
theoretically this is the end of Mystique, Beast.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, and I mean, Fassbender said he'd come back, and Xavier said he'd come back, but that they don't have to.
It's fine.
Like so.
Xavier's dead in the comics,
I'm excited.
so
I like this
I'm
new
so
team.
bitter about that.
Yeah.
I do too.
This is a team that I could keep watching for a few years.
Olivia Munn, talking about Psylocke, says that Apocalypse first meets her and she's the bodyguard. So she's like his
Ooh,
bodyguard, like
nice.
which kind of makes sense to like maybe with like the sexual component that they're kind of saying of her. Like she's kind of like always with him, like she's kind of like his girl Friday, that sort of thing. It
Yeah.
seems like. She's got this amazing skill and she has zero fear when she goes against him, so he needs her. Like so she like fights him. He's not afraid of her. Or of him, and what he sees in her is that she is someone who can protect and has no fear and is an amazing fighter and has amazing abilities. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got the fighter of the group. So we've got healer, fighter.
Now we've got the Magneto, and he says, okay, well, something much more powerful than me has arrived in a way, kind of like a god. He's the original mutant, and I think Magneto doesn't really follow anyone, so it was kind of a hard thing for him. Was that?
Yeah. Oh, mage. No, Storm would be mage. Sorry, I'm really on this track.
You're really on this
I'm really on this thing.
What he's saying is Magneto has always wanted to bring like mutants to the forefront to give them their space and to have them stop being like sort of looked down upon. And then here comes this guy that's even more powerful than him, and he's like, oh, well, I'm back in this horse now. So, and that's the political bit. Like it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
It
actually
does.
really
Yeah, it
cool.
really does.
Then Archangel. They actually weren't able to interview Ben Hardy. These people.
Who's the bodyguard? Sorry.
Psylocke.
What? Why does Apocalypse need a bodyguard?
Because he's weak.
He's weak.
He's weak.
He's been
Oh,
asleep
like when,
for
when
thousands
he's
and
asleep.
thousands of
Oh,
years.
Yeah.
okay. I missed the awakening. That concept makes sense. I
He's
was like,
a
wait a minute, the guy can do
weakling.
everything. Sorry. The
Uh,
thread asked, I agreed.
He's
Now it makes
not
sense.
that.
So, but they did describe a scene where Apocalypse recruits Warren Worthington, and they say that he molds his custom armor with waves of his hands. And of course, the telekinetic transformation of Archangel's wings into metallic blades of death. So he's just like, you
So
need
we'll
to
see
have a
that.
different costume, and like, so that's again, it's giving us an example of like what Apocalypse's actual powers are,
Right.
which I think
Yeah.
is really
Not
cool.
biological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
That's a good limit to put
Yeah,
on it.
that way he
Yeah.
has some way to be defeated, not
Yeah.
just like, what up?
And Alexander Shipp referred to him as our final horseman. So I feel like Apocalypse awakens,
Yeah.
goes recruits these other people, then approaches like Angel and is like, be my Archangel.
And that makes sense for Archangel. We'd need to
Yeah.
have seen him as Angel so the fans are happier
Yeah.
than Archangel. I like it.
Nice.
So
It's a payoff.
Wait, it just occurred to me. If he can manipulate any inorganic matter, does that mean that when you fight Apocalypse, you have to fight him naked?
That's
Yes.
another movie entirely.
Yes.
Those are different horsemen.
Axel Braun, I can't wait for that one.
So very quickly, let me go over these other characters. Nightcrawler, Cody Smith McPhee, and I believe this is on Joe Blow. You can see it on GeekGirlAuthority.com. I believe we kind of get to see the side of Nightcrawler that we love so much in the comics. The more vulnerable, swashbuckling, joyous, random personality that we love, but also so grounded in his faith at a young age. So, like,
That's cute.
I'm so excited.
I
Like,
know,
I
that's
lwhat
the night-
swashbuckling,
That's-
arrow fling
That's the word.
Nightcrawler.
what I
Like,
That's the
want.
word I
That's-
wanted to hear was
Yeah,
swashbuckling.
Yeah,
that's
like,
all
as-
I want.
That's
And
all
he
I
said
needed.
that.
Thank you, Coach.
As
Yeah.
soon as he said, see the side of Nightcrawler that we all love so
Yeah.
much, I was like, please say so.
Yes.
Like for the split second that it took me to get to swashbuckling, I was like, oh my god, I hope he says
Yes.
swashbuckling, you know? So like I'm excited for that. Jubilee. What?
No, this quote is so good.
What?
This quote, it's so good.
Oh, I know, right? So Jubilee, played by actress Lana Condor, says her power in the comic books is fireworks. In this film, I can safely say that her power is more fire plasmoid electricity type. So she's not like.
There'll be some contact where something
Yeah.
happens.
It'll be like she can shoot. It sounds like she can shoot colorful fire.
Yeah.
And an
She got an
electric
upgrade,
arc.
guys.
That's
She's
cool.
not,
That's
she's not a
cool.
vampire.
That's
and she got
exciting.
an
Oh, thank
upgrade.
God.
So, yeah.
We got some stuff.
I know.
So also she's been there for 10 years. She's not
What?
like the new student. Like in the animated series, it was like
She was always the rookie that Wolverine
you
took
Yeah,
here's
and I-
that silly rookie.
That's a shame because actually it's one of my favorite Jubilee
cool
moments.
component, yeah.
But she's like
Yeah.
best friends with Jean Grey. So where all the other students don't know how to handle Jean Grey, Jubilee's like, hey, what's up? We're besties.
That's sweet. but still.
So that happened. Jean Grey as Phoenix, Bryan Singer. He didn't say it's happening yet, but the exact quote that he has is, as far as the idea of that brewing within Jean Grey, without giving anything away, I would say absolutely that interests me, being Bryan Singer, and you may find a piece of that in X-Men Apocalypse. He also then
That's the Phoenix book.
he added she's trying to figure out her psychic powers, which are much more powerful than she realizes.
Yes.
So it sounds like they might be building to
A
do.
storm's brewing.
It sounds like we might get to reclaim that other X-Men movie that shall not ever be named. So.
But it could happen the right way.
But it could
Which
happen
is why
the right
soft
way, yeah.
reboots are fantastic.
Yay! So that does it for X-Men Apocalypse. Do you guys have any? I know we're moving fast, but if you guys want to have any ideas,
In 2 sentences, I'm really glad to hear all this instead of seeing all this, and I think that he's finally acknowledging the comics in more than just a by title alone way, and I think we might get our first X-Men movie. I thank X-Men for existing because it gave us the MCU. I now am looking forward to X-Men movies having their own universe and being X-Men movies.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I mean, just building on that, like, I think it, as much as, like, I want to see some of the X-Men, like, in, like, MCU, the fact that it's separate gives them all this room to play, and it's great.
We'll get more because they're separate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly. We get more of a story. X-Men has this weird thing where it doesn't quite fit into the rest of the Marvel universe because of just what makes it X-Men.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of being outside society doesn't work in a world with superheroes like Captain America. And so I love it. It works, and this is building the right way.
Yeah.
You know, and even in the comics, while X-Men have appeared in Avengers in crossovers with other titles, it's always just kind of been, you know, and vice versa. X-Men comics have always stood apart of their own, and while some of these X-Men movies in the past may have been punchlines to jokes, and we have to give a lot of credit to Singer. He started this whole craze, really. I mean, yes, there were superhero movies before it, but Singer really took this and ran with it. And I think him coming back and seeing what he's able to do now, because I think back then he was limited. He was limited by budgets. He was limited by studio houses and what the populace wanted to see. And now we as a movie-going audience demand a lot more out of our films with superheroes. And I think he's able to give us the stories that fans and general moviegoers want to see. And I'm freaking excited about everything you just read off that screen.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Marvel Studios. Black Panther, very quickly. Nothing big, but very cool. Ryan Coogler is actually a big fan of the Black Panther comics and has been since he was a kid. The quote that he gave to MTV News was, "The thing that got me most excited is that the first African American character that I was introduced to in main comics was Black Panther."
That's awesome.
He said, "I used to go to a comic book shop right next to my elementary school." So, like, imagine
That's cool.
Yeah.
little bitty, like, 8-year-old Ryan Coogler, 10 years old, going over to, like, this comic book shop. And by the way, that was only, like, 15 years ago. Because he's
bad.
29.
He's a young guy, yeah.
He's 29.
Yeah.
And he made Creed, dude.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
movie is so good.
Yeah.
Got
Still
a
have to
big
see it.
inferiority complex.
Dude, yeah, no, it's like, what have I done at 27?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I used to go to a comic book shop right next to my elementary school, and between basketball practice and track practice, we would go there and hang out. I remember one day I asked the comic book owners, "Are there any comic books about black people, like X-Men or different things?" And he pointed out a couple of issues of Black Panther, so that's the most exciting thing I would say.
Thank you, comic store guy.
Yeah, like I want to know. Like
I know.
Coogler should go back to that comic book
Yeah.
store. And
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
Like those
that's
pictures of
so
John
cool.
Bernthal at the
Yeah.
comic store. It's like Coogler with this guy, like this guy.
I know.
Like I'm so excited that the Black Panther, the director, is that big of a fan.
Yeah, yeah. And he had a really good quote about like why he feels that an African American should direct the Black Panther movie. I don't have it written down here. Like it was a couple months back, but absolutely go find it. Like it kind of turned my head on it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I back him on this now. Like
I can't wait to see it.
So
That's one of my most anticipated of all the comic movies coming up because it's the most that can go right or wrong. It's kind of
Yeah.
our after Doctor Strange. I think that's our biggest gamble, and I'm really excited to see where they go.
well,
with
because
it.
it's as little known a character as Doctor
yeah.
Strange.
Yeah.
Like at least it's on that
but
same
it's
sort
way
of ballpark.
more politically like
Yeah.
treacherous.
Well, and
Benedict
that's why
Cumberbatch
it's a
is Benedict Cumberbatch. Like no
Yeah.
matter
Exactly.
what, like you're good there. You got an audience. You've got an unknown character, mostly unknown director, mostly unknown actor in a geopolitical landscape. There are so many like picket. Like just coming.
we're gonna see him in Civil War, and I think that's gonna introduce him
absolutely.
Oh, I agree.
to and the audience who's like,
Yeah.
oh, what's his story? Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I
so-
think he's gonna kill it. I think he's gonna be our like every moment because they need to make him so known quickly.
Exactly.
I can't wait. For Black
Marvel's done a good job of introducing characters in a way where like it doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere, even if 5 years ago no one was talking about. As somebody who's been an Ant-Man fan for years before, like, and when I would tell people like, oh yeah, one of my favorite characters is Ant-Man,
Yep.
and people just look at me, what? That's a thing?
Yeah.
And now everyone knows who it is. Like I imagine they're on track to get Black Panther into the same way.
I
It
agree.
is, I think, a much bigger risk than Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange at least has like. Mystical powers and stuff that, like, okay, as a casual fan of comics, you can be like,
sorry, we gotta keep moving. But
All
finish your thought. Finish your thought. I'm just letting you know.
There's an easier way in than Black Panther, which is very like grounded in an out there way.
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
No, I totally agree. I like it's a risk. It's a total
So
risk, but I'm
excited.
excited about it.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. There's a new villain rumored for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Meredith, do you want to take this one and run with it?
Yeah, so guys, if you've been following any of my writing over at geek.com, you would have seen yesterday the big news break. The spoiler alert, by the way, the next couple of things are super, super spoily. With an inside source, I was able to uncover a super big John Terry possible new villain rumored in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's Ego the Living Planet, who I've been saying forever that I want to see.
Like he's up
I
there
know.
with MODOK.
I know,
for me.
right,
I want
guys?
to see him so bad.
So nuts.
Yeah, so
how do you even do that?
how do you even do that?
Oh,
So,
I cannot wait.
You guys might think that, for comic readers, you all know Ego, mostly associated with the Thor comics. He actually first appeared in Thor, had some run-ins with Galactus and Fantastic Four. Obviously, we're not going to be able to go that route. But in more recent comics history, we have seen Ego hire Rocket Raccoon to get some space lice off his back, and even Thanos it was in Thanos, a god
Thanos,
of
God above or whatever. Yeah, it was like a 6-issue series.
But it was more about Thane having his son having to go like relive stuff. But we saw Thanos is trying to conquer Ego,
and Ego almost beat him.
Yeah,
like
Ego.
The fact that Ego was like went toe to toe with Thanos and almost won. Like that's a good example of how strong Ego actually is.
So there's already this establishment that Ego can exist within the Guardians universe, and what we know about the Thor films is while they're heavily mystical and magical, putting Ego, even though we know Thor is going to be a rather cosmic film, it doesn't necessarily mean that Thor is going to be a silly cosmic film. Ego's the right type of villain who would exist very well in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe. So I'm super, super stoked about this. Now, we're not saying he's the main villain. We're not even saying he's
He's in it.
Yeah, huh?
But he's in it.
Yeah,
That's
he's
awesome.
in it, and that's what's awesome. He could just make a cameo. We don't know the extent, but
Do you think he has like the face?
I want that
Oh,
beard.
you better have that beard.
I want
You better
that
have that
beard
planet
so
beard.
I want
bad.
the
I just want to give
so
credit
bad.
to Danny B Reviews on the live chat. Said Ego the Planet is announced as soon as NASA discovers Planet 9. Coincidence?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, that's
I
pretty
know.
fantastic. That's awesome.
But yeah, so that's you guys know how much I've been wanting to
man.
I was like, because even when we were watching
Ego,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I was like, who's that playing Ego? I hope it's Ego. And then I'm like, oh wait,
Well,
no.
if I can throw this in there also, when Kurt Russell was rumored to be in contention to be Star-Lord's dad, or what are you laughing at?
Picture Kurt Russell's giant mustache on
Yeah.
Ego.
No, I don't.
And it's good.
No, I know it would look good, but I don't think he is Ego.
No.
But Ego was the history of Ego is that he was a planet that was then turned into a living planet by a cosmic entity known as the Stranger, who's more or less not like an actual brother to the Collector, but like they are like cosmic entities that have existed
Yeah.
since the beginning, like together. So like
Yeah.
they're aware of each other and everything. If Kurt Russell is not one of the Eternals, like Thanos' dad or whatever else, I think he's a very good candidate to be the Stranger. And with Ego being in here, it
Could give him that.
Yeah.
could
Well,
give him
and
that, yeah.
also in the comics, the Collector has Ego's brother, alter ego, and we do know Benicio del Toro, at least according to IMDb, is going to be back for Guardians too. So who knows? Who knows?
I love the idea that Ego is Star-Lord's dad.
Okay, there we go. No, wait,
Kurt Russell
guys.
as Ego as Star-Lord's dad.
Wasn't there rumor that Al Pacino wanted to be involved?
Yeah.
What if Al Pacino was Ego?
Oh,
Just
my
quiet
God.
whisper yelling. Oh my God, yes. Oh, all of that.
Oh my God! Like if I was half the planet I was 30 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
His little friend is a moon. Say hello to my little friend. He's that.
It is the
Yes.
yes.
So funny.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, moving
De Niro
on.
is alter ego.
Yes.
And Ego is Al
Done.
Pacino.
Ego's
Done.
Checkmate.
Sold.
I want to see a giant planet yelling, ooh-ah!
Yeah, that's all I want out of this movie now.
Oh my God, that just murdered my.
Oh, yes.
If they don't do that, I'm gonna hate Guardians of the Galaxy 2 now.
I know.
Sorry, Guardians.
We've built it up too much now.
Thor Ragnarok. These are also.
This is from Geek.
two
This
good
is
things,
not.
yeah?
I can't take credit for this. This all goes to
Oh,
Dave
this is
Gonzalez.
just Geek.
This
Geek
is
Girl,
this
or,
goes
not
out to
Geek Girl,
Dave.
Geek.com.
Yeah, Dave Gonzalez, who's been working the Thor beat forever. So
Odin's role is revealed, or possibly revealed.
Yeah,
like
this
it's,
game-
This
this-
isn't confirmed
yeah.
necessarily, but the rumor is that according to sources close to the film's production, Odin is alive, not doing well though. Whatever coup Loki attempted ended with the All-Father exiled from Asgard and taking refuge on Midgard, being Earth. And the persona of Street Corner Doomsayer. So
Is that his
we will
official
s-
title?
That's going to be his credit. Street Corner Doomsayer, Odin. So we're gonna see Anthony Hopkins as a crazy old man.
Yes.
The end is coming.
Yes.
the end is not.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And I didn't want him to be dead. I would have been upset if they'd killed him off screen.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really excited.
it
Yeah.
wouldn't have rang true if
No.
he died randomly.
And I
like
couldn't.
that.
Yeah.
I couldn't see them doing that to Hopkins at
And
all.
Odin, above all, just
Yeah.
quietly killed off screen.
I
He's
know.
not like a red
Yeah.
shirt. That's a really big
Yeah,
thing to
well,
just
and, with them killing the All Mother, it just doesn't. Well, no. Yeah, she. Wait, didn't?
Yeah,
She died. I was like, wait, you guys got quiet. I'm like, no,
What have you spoiled for Thor 3 somehow?
I know, sorry guys. Well, it just when we're killing Odin, and so I like the idea that he is somehow, I don't know if he's like lost his memories or if he's just been bandaged, but yeah, it's good.
Ruffalo described Thor Ragnarok as Universal Road movie. Here's the exact quote. There's a little bit of Midnight Run with Charles Grodin and Robert De Niro. I feel like that's kind of movie we're heading with this relationship between Thor and Banner. It's a Universal Road movie. That's where we're heading. It's not where you'd think it will be, so it's not your classic road movie, but it has a structure, I think. So
okay,
it's a road movie.
Yeah.
We've kind of already been saying that.
I have no idea what that looks like, but I love the idea of Thor and Banner like going through the stars.
I love the idea of them in a car. Just I know it'll be that kind of road movie. It won't, but the idea of them two sitting next to each other, like changing a radio station, is really funny to me.
I like the idea of like Thor doing like the Mjolnir
and
like
just
that,
marking his back, like Ruffalo's.
Yeah, like Hulk like rides him through space.
All of this.
Hulk's just got his hand on Thor's foot.
Just like,
or like hanging onto the cape. Yeah.
Well, there's also Ruffalo was talking recently too at a dinner about how great it is going to be working with Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, and you've got another rumor with that.
So another thing that broke on Geek.com today, thank you, Mr. Dave Gonzalez, for this one, is that looks like we're gonna have Hela in the movie.
Ooh,
we've been thinking Enchantress this whole time is the big bad, but according to the news today that he found out, this again not confirmed from the studios, this is all his source, is that Hela is going to be the main bad pairing up with Loki, and that it looks like Blanchett is going to be the one playing her. Again, not confirmed, but this is so freaking awesome because Hela.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing Hiddleston
Hell.
and Blanchett.
Right?
Like that much
Yeah.
power. Like those are both such charismatic, brilliant, talented actors. Like that is so much intelligence and beauty in one spot.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think if like for the movie, like I'd be really excited to see an Enchantress story, but for Kate Blanchett, I think Hela is like such a good choice.
And here's the thing: if we're talking Ragnarok, even if we're switching it up from the comics, we need something to really spice it up and bring it in. And Enchantress just isn't that type of character that can help bring about Ragnarok. But the ruler of Hell is something that can, because Ragnarok is supposed to be what destroys, that brings about the end of the gods and the rebirth of the new, and Hela's whole shtick is kind of that, and I think that's what is going to be a great play, and I'm excited for that. There's a lot more to the story. I don't want to say too many more spoilers on air for our viewers who don't want, but if you go to geek.com right now, the story should be up as the major headline, so you can see what else Dave posted about Hela's role and how it ties into the film, and a big thing about Mjolnir. And
if you go read that, know that Doctor Strange is in the universe.
That's your one ability to.
No. Well, let's go. Let's go ahead. We have some minutes. Do you want to address that, or do you want to address it next week?
No,
okay, all right.
But it's a giant spoiler. I don't want to address it at all.
It is.
But if you go read that story and you see that spoiler and you go, "Oh no, what will they do?"
Yeah.
My answer is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, the answer to Mjolnir is Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So, anyway, going to Sony, we've got 10 minutes. Spider-Man's release date has been moved to July 7th from July 28th.
Spider-Man
so it's moved
tradition.
up about a month. So happy 4th, everybody! Happy 4th, America! Spider-Man!
Spider-Man 1 and 2 are both the 4th of July.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. That's his day.
Red,
it's
red,
amazing.
That's why all those flags.
blue, and black.
America.
That's why he's got to swing by on flags because it's 4th of July. America.
Also, Geek.com, you're just killing it this week,
was
you
me.
guys.
This was actually, this
how
is
Spider-Man
mine.
enters the MCU. Do you want to
Sure,
take it?
thank you. Yeah, I actually started off the week on Friday. That's the start of the week, right? We uncovered how Peter fits into the whole Civil War MCU storyverse. Again, this kind of goes into spoiler territory, so warning, guys. But what we uncovered was that Peter actually grows up idolizing Tony Stark. Basically, from the age 5, he sees Iron Man on the screen, and he's like, I want to be like this guy. So, like Tony and his inventions, and Iron Man the superhero. It's his boyhood idol. It's so freaking adorable. And then at some point, Peter Parker gets his spider powers. He's spidering around New York. Civil War happens. Tony takes note of Peter Parker as Spider-Man, probably through all those SHIELD files he acquired in Avengers 2. And he shows up and says, hey, you want to join me? And with a little additive incentive of, I've got a really sweet suit for you with some
Or I
really
can make
sweet,
one at least, yeah.
with some sweet web shooters and some sweet eyeglass. some
I'm cool with
very
the
nice
eyeglass.
mirror.
I really hope the web shooters aren't Tony.
Yeah,
I stand by that
I know.
because that's such a big part of his
That's
whole
a big part of
Yeah.
his
Yeah, I
Genesis,
agree. I agree.
I would assume they're upgraded.
I think that,
Or like he has a certain delivery system for the webbing. He's already something.
I'm
but
gonna
not
go with
full.
upgraded. I'm gonna go with upgraded web shooters. I'm gonna say that right now that it's gonna be an upgraded suit, upgraded web shooters, and new
And then
glass
when he
in the
leaves, if
eyes.
he goes back to regular and uses some of the knowledge he gained, I'm cool with
Exactly.
that. I just don't want him to have
Yeah.
like vibrating cartridges
Yeah.
like he does in the
It
comic
would be
right
a great
now.
moment if he does the same thing as from the book and flips to Cap's side,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Well, I kept the web shooter."
Right?
Of course I got the
Exactly.
web shooter's cap.
But yeah, so
And then they've got a tracker, and that's how Iron Man finds him, and then he kills everybody. Oh, spoiler!
Invented spoiler.
I know. But yeah, so it's really great to put him in that perspective because yes, we are dealing with a 15-year-old Spider-Man, and it does make sense as to how he would join. And we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. We saw that one art. Real quick, because this is just you.
No, finish
we
it
saw
up.
that one art where Hawkeye is kind of not fighting anyone. It looks like he was kind of aiming an arrow at Tony's butt. Well, now it kind of makes sense because now that it's 6v6 versus 5v6.
Right.
So.
And Downey Jr. doing the screen test with
Yeah.
Spider-Man makes a lot of sense because it would make sense to have that reference because Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. and Peter Parker would have that kind of reference because it's Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly.
of course.
That's my
Go right
impression.
on
my input.
geek.com. Just look for my name, Meredith Placko.
Let's jump over to Netflix real quick. Jessica Jones got a second season order.
And nobody was surprised.
No, but it's still fun. It's so
I know,
good.
I'm so
We
excited,
have
I'm so
We have
excited.
our first actual image from
Yeah.
it. Are we? Do we have time to call it? Do you
Wait,
think
yeah,
we have
has
time?
anyone called this number?
As long as we have time to get to Agent Carter for a minute, but
Has anyone called? I'm so curious about this number.
here,
like-
Jonathan, can we Skype Jessica
Yeah.
Jones?
No,
Yeah,
let's just call it.
yeah.
on
Let
your
me
phone.
just call it on my number. Hold
So
on.
while you're doing that, that's exciting. I'm really excited, but
Yeah.
we don't have a release date for that yet.
No,
but
I
we
personally,
do know that it's coming.
I'm personally hoping that it's after Defenders.
I don't think it'll be after
1084.
Defenders. I think
Yeah.
it'll be
Alright, hold on, I'm
2017
gonna
at the
put it on speakerphone.
earliest, though.
because it's gonna put, well, that'll push
guys,
Defenders
it's
back
ringing.
again. I guess my thing is my only concern about it, and I'm
Wait.
We've got cases and shit, so leave a message.
Oh, that's
Oh my God, that's
Oh my God, that's
awesome! So Jessica Jones' voicemail actually answered when you call, and she's like, "Hello, this is Alice Investigations. We have cases and S. Leave a message."
Yeah. Okay. Finish your thought. We got to move. 5 minutes.
My only concern, and I trust that with such a good first season, I trust that they can figure this out. Who the villain is and living up to Kilgrave is going to be the big thing. So I think it has to be a smaller story, not as much about a villain, but as an internal struggle.
I trust him.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys are curious about my thoughts, had a piece published today on geek.com on where I think season 2 of Jessica Jones can go. So please go read it there.
I will have to go read that.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Also, there's a Punisher series being rumored. It's not confirmed, but Hollywood Reporter actually confirmed with Marvel and Netflix that they are talking about it, but it doesn't mean it's moving forward. They're
They
going
would
to have to
like that.
still see how it plays. But that, to me, even better than saying that there's a series possibly coming, says how good the character is in the series.
Yeah.
That they're that both studios are like, oh crap, we might need to give this guy a series. Like that's good. That's a very good thing. And I would love to see that. We don't have time to comment on it, but that's exciting. Also, John Bernthal and Elodie Young talked about their characters. We don't have time to talk about that. Go to geekgirlauthority.com to see those quotes. They are listed there for you. Also, other Marvel spin-offs for Netflix. The president of Netflix, Sarandos, said any character that is in there is in the table. It's always possible. And all of the characters could spin out from. So so that's exciting. And summaries leaked on Netflix for Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Defenders. I don't think that there's anything novel about any of them.
No.
But Luke Cage does say in this Marvel live action series, a street fighting ex-con battles crime. They called him an ex-con.
That's
now
awesome.
we've speculated that. We kind of assumed that. I think it even maybe said something in the other synopses, but there you go. Agent Carter, take it and run.
We had 2 episodes that came out on Tuesday. They did a double right after this Captain America 75th anniversary special. 3 hours of it. I love the first 2 episodes. It takes us into the 50s in Los Angeles and Hollywood. We had some great stuff. Like we got Jarvis. We met his wife, who is not a robot, as we
His
had
wife
wildly
is
speculated.
She's
awesome. I love her.
amazing.
A lot of cool stuff that's like universe building in this. We were introduced to Zero Matter as this like mystical force that Isodyne is developing in there, and this really nice character / love interest for Peggy
By the way, there's going to be spoilers all about Agent Carter.
Oh yeah.
Right now,
We're talking about like the episodes that have already aired. So if you haven't seen them, spoilers.
Stop or just don't care.
But there's some really great stuff. A lot of people are saying that the Zero Matter is Dark Force, which is a lead to Doctor Strange.
So the quote that Tara Butters, one of the showrunners, has is obviously Dark Force was in S.H.I.E.L.D. and has a connection with Doctor Strange. When she says S.H.I.E.L.D., she's talking about Blackout, that character from the first season, like episode 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that. It is something from another dimension that has properties that when a person has been exposed to it, it can kill them, it can give them powers, and with each person, potentially affects them differently. It is definitely part of the Marvel, quote-unquote, of our season. So I've had a few people asking me about the Doctor Strange connection. To my knowledge, unless there's like an extraneous storyline that I haven't read, like in the Avengers or Thor or something like that, Doctor Strange really doesn't deal with Dark Force a whole lot.
I think it's mainly that it is a dimensional thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to play a role in the movie, and this is sort of their loose tie between the two.
Yeah.
It'll probably mean more once we get there. What we got in this series, like in these 2 episodes, was basically it's a catalyst for 2 characters, I think, to get their powers. We have Madame Mask being like, this is how she gets her powers, basically.
Yeah.
And then what they didn't show in this episode, but what we sort of speculated on, was Jason Wilkes, her love interest.
Yeah.
He blew up with the Zero Matter. Jason Wilkes in the comics, if you're not aware, is a one-off character who gets like hit with an invisibility ray and then but he becomes not only just like invisible but completely non-corporeal.
I did not know that.
I knew he was from the comics. I just had no.
He's a super tiny character.
Yeah, very minor.
But so what
that's really cool.
What
That's
I'm
really
speculating,
cool.
and what we sort of built on the AfterBuzz TV after show, our sister network, is that he's going to become like, just because they kissed in that episode, it was really sweet.
Yeah.
It was like this nice, especially for the 50s, you had an interracial kiss, because this season is dealing less with the feminism and like really like anti-feminist issues from season 1, and dealing with a lot of the racial issues that the 50s are known for.
And, I mean, just kind of like equality in general.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, equality has been the major through line of Agent Carter, and I love that about it. But this seems to be the issue. They had one scene very specifically dealing with a racist diner owner, but when she has this kiss with the guy, and like in her semi-rebound from Sousa, but then if he becomes like they like fall in love and they cannot touch because of what's been inflicted with him. Heartbreak. Well, I spent the whole 2 episodes swooning over Peggy. If you've never seen me talk about Peggy Carter, I'm just in love.
That's
when she talks about like, I'm a whiskey girl, I melted.
And that's why you dotty it up on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agent Carter after show.
Oh yeah, I get my red fedora in there.
Oh, that's so
fun. I didn't have it today. But.
All right, we've got to wrap it up. We will not have time to talk about any of the comic stuff that we wanted to. There's links on geekgirlauthority.com if you want to see that stuff.
Shout out 75 years Captain America. Woo!
Yeah, and by the way, Steve Rogers will be returning to the role of Captain America, but that does not mean that Sam Wilson will cease to be Captain America. He's actually going to keep the shield and continue being Cap.
It's like going to be a Hawkeye situation.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Agent Carter showrunners just released their first Captain Marvel comic. It has Alpha Flight. All I'm going to say is that Puck is back, and he's in this comic with, and that like killed.
That's all you need to know.
Read Deadpool Spider-Man. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, Free Comic Book Day is going to see Civil War 2 starting. That's going to be a giveaway for free. And that's also where we're going to get to see All New Wasp. That's the end of, that's all we can say for the comic books. We've got to wrap it up because it's 2:01. But at Tater, my 26th birthday is on Friday. Can I get a shout out? I love this show. Keep up the good work.
Happy birthday,
happy birthday,
Tater.
One shout out of the day.
Yeah. And can we get the Eye of Agamotto, Cam? Happy birthday at Tater, saith the Eye of Agamotto. All right, that's our show. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
Vote for my commercial. Swipe for Doritos. It's still 2 weeks left, and I would really love to go to the Super Bowl and $1 million.
All right, that's all you got time for. Go.
If you guys find me on Twitter, Instagram at Zach Wilson, and talking about Agent Carter, Daredevil, all the Marvel TV shows on AfterBuzz TV.
Boom. Dope.
Keep your eyes on geek.com because I can't say there's not more stuff coming tomorrow.
Ooh.
Good plug. Good plug.
Good plug. Great plug. Great plug. You know how to do this, don't you? Yeah. I produce Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith. That's supposed to be out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but sometimes we don't have time to record it. But you can catch him on the Kevin Smith channel on YouTube, and sometimes I get to talk about Doctor Strange there. Also, next Tuesday is going to see the end of our show
Our
on
third part series.
Yes.
on Geek and Sundry's Twitch.
It's
James
so good.
Cameron's Spider-Man.
Where we're reading James Cameron's Spider-Man, and it's hilarious.
He's
and
Doc Ock. I'm Spider-Man. It's ridiculous.
And you should absolutely tune in. It's at 7:00 next Tuesday. And that's our last
Wrap
one.
him in your arms.
oh, there's so much more
Yeah.
than that.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's our show. Please don't forget to subscribe to our show on iTunes, also on YouTube, Marvel Movie News. You can also find us on Facebook /Marvel News Show, or on Twitter at Marvel News PTN. I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key.
I'm Meredith Placko at mplacko.
I'm Zach Wilson at that Zach Wilson.
I'm Coy Jandreau at Coy Jandreau.
Thank you very much. But best give it about.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit PopcornTalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.